Are your paid ads not working? I always get asked all the time, hey Edwin, how do I know if my ads are working? Or hey Edwin, I've been running some ads. They're not really getting the conversions that I want. How do I know what needs to be improved? Is it the ads? Is it the funnel? So in this video, I'm just gonna demystify all of that and show you guys a super simple way to know if your ads are working. If they're not working, here's exactly what to know in terms of what you should be trying to improve, okay? A lot of times, once you understand, okay, cool, here's where the bottleneck is, here's what's not working, the entire problem is easier to get solved because you've illuminated the problem. You've given yourself clarity. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little line here, right? Let's see where we at. Let's get a nice line down the middle. And on the left, I'm going to talk about Facebook. And on the right, I'm going to talk about YouTube. And I'm going to make this super, super simple for you guys. Now, the first thing you should be asking yourself, am I getting conversions? If you're not getting conversions, then keep watching this video. If you are getting conversions and they're at or below the goal that you have, then there's nothing to worry about. If you're really trying to optimize and tweak stuff, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But this video is mainly if an ad campaign isn't working, how do I know what's wrong or what component of it is wrong? So here's the simplest way I've learned, and I teach people how to do it. So when it comes to Facebook, Facebook is interruption marketing, and so is YouTube to an extent. So basically, your job is to try to get people's attention as they're scrolling through their feed and get them to stop for a split second. So how do you know if your ads are getting people's attention? What I personally like looking at is CTR AW. CTR AW is a column in Facebook. If you don't have it in your current setup, just go to performance and clicks in the columns and it should pop up there. So CTR AW, pretty much what that lets you know is what is the overall click-through rate of my ad? And it's pretty much checking to see how many people are clicking on see more if you have a longer ad and how many people are actually stopping the scroll. So the number you should be trying to aim for this is 2% or higher. So when you're looking at your stats, if your CTR is not at 2% or higher, then you know that your creative, so basically the image or the video that you're using, or your headline, or even the initial sentence or two of your ad, it's not hooking people. And from my experience, the biggest lift you're going to get is from the image or from the video that you use and that first line of the ad copy. So if it's 2% or higher, then you know people are stopping the scroll and are at least giving your ad a chance. If it's lower than that, then people aren't even giving it a chance, right? It's not getting their attention in the feed. So that is how you know if it's a creative issue. If it's a creative issue, then just switch up the creative, make it more of a pattern interrupt, get people's attention more, right? And we're going to talk about what type of images, videos work best on this channel in a future video. So the next thing you know, okay, let's say, hey, Edwin, my image is good. My creative is 2% or higher. It's not the creative. Like, what's wrong? Okay, cool. Let's see if your copy is doing its job. And the way to know if your copy is doing its job is you look at the click-through rate. And the way it looks like in Facebook, again, excuse the handwriting, it should say CTR, and then in parentheses, it should say link click-through rate. And basically the number you should be aiming for that is 1% or higher. So if it's at 1% or higher, then you know that your copy is doing its job. It's persuasive and it's getting people to click. If it's lower than that, then your copy needs work. You need to add more benefits. You need to add more urgency. You need to get people to click somehow. So that is basically how you're going to be able to diagnose what you should be improving. So if any of these metrics are off, then either change your creative or fix your copy. And a lot of times when you do this, the original goal that you set were for leads or book calls or registrants, usually it's going to correct itself. Now, if you are getting a 2% CTR and you are getting a 1% just link click-through rate, then you know you don't have an ads problem, you have a funnel problem. But at least that gives you more clarity in terms of what actually needs to get worked on. Now, when it comes to YouTube ads, it's pretty much the same thing. So they don't have a CTR awe, but I guess the equivalent for them, which lets you know if your video is doing a good job, is called the view rate, right? So the view rate pretty much lets you know, like, hey, it's my video getting people's attention. Is it making them not press that skip button that you sometimes see when you're watching a YouTube video when an ad pops up? So the metric or number you should be aiming for is 25% or higher. So if 100 people get shown your ad, at least 25 of them should be watching, at least, or maybe I said that wrong. If 100 people are watching your ad, at least 25%, at least the majority of them should be watching 25% of your ad. There we go. So if people aren't watching 25% of your ad, if you're looking at the stats and it's a lot lower than that, then you know that you need to change probably the first 10 to 15 seconds of your advertisement. It's going to come down to the hook. Maybe you just didn't have a strong enough hook. You didn't catch their attention. You didn't call out the person you wanted. There's so many things you can do to create a really good video. And I'm going to walk through in a future video my 7-figure video ad format that literally crushes. I'm going to talk about that in a future video. But if you're not getting a 25% view rate, then you know that the beginning of your video just isn't strong enough. Now, let's say you are getting a 25% view rate, so your video creative as a whole is getting people's attention. The next number you should be looking for is the CTR, not CTR, just regular CTR, which is kind of similar to a Facebook, and that is 1%. So if you're at 1% or higher, and honestly with Facebook, I would even say with YouTube, I would even say 1 or 2% is what you should probably be aiming for. If it's more B2B, you could get away with 1%. Same thing with Facebook. But if it's more of like a mass appeal broad offer, you should probably be aiming for 2% or higher for the most part. So if you're not getting that, then that means that your call to action wasn't strong enough. So again, use more of a stronger benefit, use more urgency or scarcity, and that should be getting more people over to the next page. So hopefully this video helped. If you're curious and wondering why are your ads not working, or just, hey, what metrics should I be aiming for? Hopefully this video gave you a good outline of what metrics I personally look at when it comes to optimizing, when it comes to knowing if my ads are doing what they're supposed to do or not. And whatever number is off, I go in and I change it. If my creative isn't popping, then I put in a new creative that's doing a better job, or that will do a better job. Or it's a lot, at the end of the day, it's a lot of guessing. But if my copy isn't doing a good job, then I go in and I tweak the copy. I change the first initial couple lines usually, or I might add a PS and maybe add a guarantee, or add some type of scarcity or urgency or whatever I need to do. So if you have any questions, leave them below. I'd love to answer them. And if you have any ideas for future videos, or if you want to know more ad strategies, whether it comes to YouTube ads, Facebook ads, from somebody who's literally spending hundreds of thousands a month on paid ads, then also leave them below. Make sure you subscribe. More future videos like this, and have a good one. Peace.